Hey guys, welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Andre Siegers, and this time we're joined by Roger Space and Colin McIsaac from Gamnesia to discuss everything about Super Mario Odyssey. So let's get started. Alright guys, Super Mario Odyssey was at E3, and I don't know how you guys feel. Actually, I think I have some idea. I freaking love pretty much everything I've seen about this game.
Yeah!
And I've already talked about it a fair amount, so I want to open up with your impressions first. And I know you both got played a fair amount at E3, but before we get to that, I want to know what your initial reaction was to seeing the trailer. Because that trailer took me by surprise, which is saying something, but I spent like a month analyzing the initial trailer before that. So the fact that we didn't even know about that Cappy mechanic at all kind of blew my mind. So I want to know what you guys thought. So let's go start off with you, Roger. I think you even did a live reaction to this, right? Like you played a live stream. Yeah.
I did a live reaction to the entire showcase, and then I spliced up separate reactions that I thought were like really notable, and that trailer was one of them. Because I remember when it started and I saw the dinosaur, at first I thought it was Monster Hunter. And then I went and I watched other people's reactions, and everyone else thought it was Monster Hunter too. So I was like, okay, thankfully I was not the only one thinking that.
Well, what's really funny real quick is from the grass initially, I'm like, this has to be Mario. Then I saw the dinosaur, I'm like, wait, no, this has to be Monster Hunter.
Yeah, that's absolutely wild, because from the grass initially, I thought it looked just like Shulk's reveal trailer from
Me too!
Yeah. And I had no idea what was going on!
And I was like, they already showed Xenoblade 2, there's no way they were going to show another Xenoblade trailer. And then so I saw the T-Rex, and I thought, okay, maybe this is like Fossil Fighters, or like a Jurassic Park game or something.
Oh my god, I forgot about
maybe
Fossil
it's Turok, like, I have no idea. And then as soon as it panned up and we saw the little red, I was like, oh, okay, this is totally going to be Mario. And then once he started possessing things, I was losing my mind.
Right?
When we saw the little Pepe the Frog get possessed by Mario, we're playing as Pepe Mario.
Too.
Like, oh, I absolutely loved it.
I love that moment in the trailer, by the way. Like, that combined with the music, and I love how the frog kind of like shakes. He's like startled by the whole thing. So perfect.
He's got a That's So Raven moment.
Yeah.
And then he possesses the human, too, in the trailer as well, and that really threw me for a loop. And then so he started possessing things that don't even have, like, I mean, they're inanimate objects. You've got, like, a pole and a tank and all these other things. It was just really cool, and I loved seeing it, and I loved the whole capping mechanic.
Well, so does this mean that Mario is a human man with no mustache who's constantly being possessed by Cappy?
Whoa. Whoa.
No, I think, because the mustache, I think, comes from him. So I think Cappy possesses his mustache and throws his mustache on the other stuff.
It's complicated lore you got, Nintendo.
It is.
Truly.
I don't know what you're thinking.
So did you feel the same way, Colin?
Oh, totally. No, I think my two favorite things about this game, I mean, obviously Mario's got, like, these cool new moves, and you've got, like, these cool custom outfits, but I think my two favorite things by far are the sheer breadth and diversity of the content in this game. It's stuff we've never seen in Mario before. Yeah. And I'm not just talking, like, characters and abilities, but, like, the atmosphere of that forest area was so tranquil. I don't think that Mario's ever come close to doing something like that before. And the other one is just their approach to the abilities, because the possession mechanic with Cappy isn't just like a fun sandbox tool. I mean, it is, and that's awesome. But it's also how you take control of abilities like raising up on stilts and jumping to super tall platforms. It's how you deal with abilities like possessing a bullet bill and being able to break blocks in the overworld. So there's some really cool design ideas that they've sort of taken from the 2D Mario ability power-ups, like the raccoon suit and stuff, and just thinking about the way that you traverse the level, and combined it with the sort of health system of Mario 3D games, and I think they found a power-up / ability system in this one that works really well.
For sure.
The trailer, like, I love the initial trailer, and this trailer continues a trend of Nintendo, like, kind of blowing it out with a second trailer, like the second full trailer, where it's like, oh my god, there's so much to this game. And I love how they showed off, like, a fair amount of the game initially with the reveal trailer, and yet they hit this amazing mechanic in the game that I don't think anyone saw coming, which is just mind-blowing to me. And just seeing how fun it looked in the trailer, I'm like, oh my god, I have to go hands-on with this game. This looks amazing. And sure enough, we did. We all had the chance to play at E3.
Yep.
And that, you know, so here's the thing. I really enjoyed what I played at E3. I know I'm gonna have a blast with this game. At the same time, the freaking demo was too short. Like, 10 minutes did not feel like enough time. Like, it kept cutting me off whenever I was about to do something major. I'm like, no, game, stop! I want to play more of this. But at the same time, you can at least play the game this year, unlike Zelda last year, where the line is impossible to get into, and they just cut off.
Right,
like,
I mean, maybe that's a good
minutes.
thing, because it just leaves you wanting more Mario Odyssey.
And the trick for people who were attending, who were like public attendees, there was a trick to playing the game where you would not have to wait that long. I think a lot of people were waiting in the lines where you would like go to the standing demos where they were playing on TV, but around the booth there were benches where people were sitting down with the handheld version, and the line for that was only like 20 to 25 minutes. Because there was even, I had only played on the last day of the show. I had my media appointment. I specifically was like, I'm not waiting in that super long line on the show floor.
With the peons.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then after I got out of my media appointment for the last hour of the show, Miyamoto was like in the booth doing like a Make-A-Wish thing or something, and I'm like, I'm gonna go back on the show floor and go play Mario Odyssey again. And I looked, and the handheld line had nobody in it, and everybody was waiting for the giant TVs. So I played both of the areas I'd already played again in the handheld
that's
version.
amazing.
So yeah.
That is awesome. Those pro tips. Too bad, you know, it doesn't help anyone now, but...
Too bad E3's over now.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I could not get enough of this game. I think, as you said, Colin, like, at least, left you wanting more, and it did. Like, I wanted to keep playing this game. I actually, even though I had a media appointment too, a couple of them, I kept popping back in line too, because I needed to play more of this. And I still felt like I was only scratching the surface every time I played, because it's the open-endedness of this game that is, I've said before, that's what's exciting to me. Like, Nintendo keeps saying that this is a return to the Mario 64 and Sunshine style of gameplay. That's BS. This is a return to the Mario 64 style of gameplay only, where you have a whole world to do all these multiple objectives at once. Whereas Sunshine was still linear; it still went mission by mission by mission. Here, you can do whatever you want, and that's what I love about Mario Odyssey. Like, the world is your oyster; you can do whatever you want in this. And I kept finding myself getting sidetracked. Like, in some ways, it is like Zelda Breath of the Wild, in which you can be doing one thing and you see like two or three other things you want to do, and you go do that instead, and you almost forgot what you went into there to do originally anyway.
Yeah, I think the really interesting difference there is that it doesn't kick you out anymore when you get a Power Star. I mean, a Power Moon in this one.
Right.
But so, and it's funny that you say it's actually not a return to Sunshine. Andre, you love Banjo-Kazooie. I was actually thinking it makes it a lot more like the kind of design that Banjo-Kazooie followed that made that such an iconic 3D platforming
It makes me so happy to hear you say that, because in my reaction trailer,
I was
like, these transformations remind me so much of Mumbo Jumbo. Like, before we knew it was like a possession thing.
Oh, absolutely! And the hat's got the googly eyes, and the coins are like the music notes, and the moons are the jiggies. It's all the same.
Especially, I love exactly what you were talking about, how the way you play Banjo-Kazooie, even in Mario 64, you choose a star, and you could end up going to a different star, but in reality, you're still choosing a mission. Whereas Banjo, you just enter the world, and then you get the jiggies however you want to get them. So this absolutely does remind me of, like, the original Banjo-Kazooie. And to be honest, I would never say this anywhere except right here. I like the original Banjo-Kazooie more than I like Mario 64.
Whoa.
I can go back and play the original Banjo-Kazooie, and I actually do prefer it. I don't feel the same way about Tooie, and obviously I love all of the 3D Mario games, but I do actually prefer going back and playing Kazooie 264 for the exact reason that Colin just brought up. So,
man, see, like,
kudos to you.
I've heard that a lot. That's interesting. I think people who like 3D collectibles specifically like really latch to Banjo-Kazooie, and then Mario is so so revolutionary as a Mario game and as a video game that I mean, obviously it's also fantastic, but
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It did it first, almost.
I mean, it did. It was a pioneer, but Rare looked at what Mario did, and they definitely improved it in some ways. Like, Mario 64 is my favorite game of all time, but I don't begrudge anyone who would put Banjo-Kazooie above it, because I also love Banjo-Kazooie, and it does do some things better than Mario, or than Mario 64 did. And it does seem like Nintendo's kind of like looking back at not only their own catalog, but maybe other games too, and seeing what they could do better. And because this game definitely is evocative of Banjo-Kazooie, even down to, I would say, the personality. Like, that's one thing Banjo-Kazooie freaking nailed, is the personality of the characters and the worlds.
Well, I mean, to be fair, there is in the city level, all the humans go, oh. They literally do that in the demo.
I mean, and their words pop up with little text boxes on the screen. Like, you're not wrong.
No, yeah.
Oh man, like
Nintendo made Banjo-Kazooie after all.
I mean, this really does kind of feel like the true successor to Banjo-Kazooie. Like, let me just say, Ukulele. They're so damn lucky that game came out before Mario Odyssey, because no one would give a crap after Mario Odyssey. Man.
And the thing is, too, you were mentioning the collectibles in Banjo-Kazooie. I think that's the way that Mario Odyssey improves upon that game, is because you use the coins to get the costumes. Whereas in Banjo-Kazooie, you're just collecting notes to collect notes to have a number. But in that, like, you actually have a reason to use those collectibles and to use those coins, and you're motivated to then explore a little bit more to get a coin so then you can get a costume to maybe traverse an area you weren't able to find the first time around.
That is a great point.
Well, and also you can purchase power moons in the stores too. I mean, I think it's a really well-designed system.
Yeah. I mean, there is. Like, they really seem to be balancing everything a little bit better this time. But, like, as you touched on, Roger, with the coins, they actually have a true purpose now. Because before, like, you know, for the past, you know, for Mario's entire history, but especially recently, they would give you 1-ups, and those 1-ups became increasingly worthless because it didn't matter if you died or not, and you always had like 100 1-ups anyway. So I love that not only are the lives now tied to your coins, in which you lose a few coins every time you die, but the coins actually have a purpose now. You can actually spend them on things. Which makes it just, you know, they felt pointless before, and now they actually do have merit. But yeah, like, they are really just kind of like hitting a home run here in almost every way from what I've seen so far. We'll have to see, you know, the game actually fully comes out. But like, what they're doing here, like, I'm loving. Because I would say, the one thing about Banjo-Kazooie that holds it back for me a little bit, as much as I love that game, the moment-to-moment gameplay isn't as fun as a Mario game. Like, in Mario, it's just fun to bounce around, to go around the levels, to explore to, you know, figure out new ways around these obstacles. In Banjo-Kazooie, it felt pretty set in stone. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of diversity in how you could do a particular task, I felt like, because their moveset was pretty limited. But Mario Odyssey is taking that to the next level with the cap abilities and all your jumping abilities you have here. Like, it felt like in New Donk City especially, there were probably 5 different ways to reach some of those some of those moons, I'm sure. You could jump from a high rooftop down below, or climb up by wall jumping up between roofs, or you could use
the sparky rail things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can fling yourself on the fence posts. I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of freedom they give you in collecting any given object.
It's that sense of freedom. Like, that is what's exciting. Like, I love Mario Galaxy. I think they nailed it when it comes to linear gameplay. I love that game. But I also want something a little bit more open at times, too. And this game is like the Mario Galaxy of the open world games. Like, this is what I want. This has just been super fun. Because it's still somewhat focused. Like, these worlds aren't gigantic. They're not sprawling. You know, it's not like the Breath of the Wild world here. But they're big enough that there's enough to do to keep you entertained for, you know, for seemingly a big chunk of time. So I have a question for you guys, though. We all played the demo multiple times, or at least once per level. What was your preferred level so far that you played?
I'm gonna say Donk City.
Okay.
I think the Metro Kingdom I preferred because of the verticality of it. I've never really seen that in a Mario game. I mean, I'm sure there have been times where, like, you had these really tall skyscrapers you had to sort of climb up. The thing that's coming to mind to me is the buoy base from Mario Galaxy, where you go up that giant tower. And I think there's another level like that in Galaxy 2, but I love that verticality. And I liked all the different ways you could sort of go about and jump between buildings to get stars. Don't get me wrong, I actually think the Sand Kingdom was really fun too, but I also did not get through all there was to get through in the Sand Kingdom, whereas in the 2 times I played through the Metro Kingdom level, I was actually able to get every moon that was potentially available in that demo.
That's pretty awesome.
And I loved it. I mean, I thought, like, finding the different musicians, I love the music of it too. I really just loved jazz music, and so for me, that hit home. And I think once we actually see the final version where, like, the power is out and then you get the Pauline concert, it'll be a blast.
That's awesome, because I like Donk City, but I actually like the sand level better. Because I agree with you, the verticality in Donk City is so cool. I love all the Donkey Kong references. I like Pauline. Where did that come from? That's awesome.
Right?
But the sand level also had a lot of stuff that really spoke to me. They had cool cartoony characters, which they fit a little better with the Mario universe. I love the humans in Donk City. That's absurd and so cool and crazy. But, this one felt a little more traditionally Mario. And then they had the cool ideas with, like, the 8-bit warp pipes, and you're still wearing your silly mobster suit. When you go in the 2D walls, which then also bring back the gravity mechanics from like Galaxy games that send you to the ceiling and the floor. They did so much cool like remixing and twisting of old Mario conventions in that sand level that I just totally loved it.
Those 2D sections are freaking brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, straight up. Like I said before in our daily wrap up discussions at E3, those 2D sections feel like kind of like what they were going for in A Link Between Worlds, but they nail it here. Like they are so perfectly implemented, and they're fun in and of themselves. Yeah. And I love how it's essentially a mode of transportation. That's how you get around, and it's fun. You're playing like a mini Mario level in a 3D environment, which is crazy.
Yeah, really clever.
And it really is like Link Between Worlds. I think that's so cool that you put it.
Yeah, right.
It's like Mario Between Worlds. Yeah.
So, Colin, I kind of agree with you. Like, I think in the full game, I think New Donk City might be my preferred level, but at the demo, I actually prefer the Sand Kingdom. Because it especially was evocative, like that to me felt like a Mario 64 style level, where you had the fortress ahead, or the ruins, which kind of acted as like a weenie. If you're not a theme park fan, it is a weenie like that draws your attention to something, like it gives you a goal to work toward. But you could go off the beaten path as well, and you could go off to like the oasis to the east, or go check out the desert to the west. You can do whatever you want, but you had a clear.
Yeah, I heard someone like went backwards a long way and found some cool secret, which is like I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's a crazy thing. There are secrets everywhere here. Like, you find... So, typically, the stars, like, were... they're a reward for completing an objective. Here, they'll just pop up anywhere. You break open the box, hey, here's a moon. Why not? Yeah. It wasn't nothing special about that box, but take a moon. And evidently, if I remember correctly, I think Nintendo said there's something like 30 to 50 moons per level, which is pretty ridiculous, because even Banjo-Kazooie, I think, had 10 per level. Yeah. Banjo-Tooie might have had a few more. I can't quite remember.
I think it was still 10. I think it was still 10.
10. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love that. Like, that's cool. Like, give me more stuff to find.
So my concern from that though is, does that mean we're getting less worlds than we would in something like Mario 64?
That's a good question.
That's my big concern.
I feel like I've heard this before, but I feel like they've said it was 6 or 7 worlds.
Did they say that?
Really?
I have no idea why I feel like they did. I don't know if they did.
Okay. I haven't heard that. I felt like that'd be bigger news if... I feel like it would have seen that by now.
I feel like there would have been a 20-minute GameXplain video.
Yeah.
At the same time, I could definitely see them having fewer levels in this than they typically have. I mean, well, consider this.
Yeah.
Mario 64 had 15 levels. Mario Sunshine had only, what, 7, I think? 7 or 8?
Yeah. Well, actually, Mario 64 had 15, really?
Yeah, 15.
I think it had 8. Well, Sunshine had 8 if you're counting the volcano, and I think Sunshine is what I was thinking of actually. So scratch all that.
Okay.
I could see it being a similar amount to Sunshine, honestly. So
I think it has to be more than Sunshine, because we've already seen the Jurassic level, the cooking level, the sand level, the wood level, and the city level. We've already seen 5 of the levels in the game. I don't think they would blow their load with half of the levels in the game already. It's probably
it won't be 12. It won't be as small as 7,
12 to 15. I could maybe see.
Yeah.
I hope so. I think 15 would be. I'm not expecting 15. 15 would be amazing. I would say 10 to 12 is kind of what I'm expecting here. So, but man, I hope I'm wrong. I would love more levels of this caliber. But these levels, I mean, that's the thing. These levels are bigger than any other Mario level has been before.
For sure.
I mean, each of these levels is equal to multiple past Mario levels.
Right.
Just saying something. What do you guys think so far of the setup in general? Like, I guess we don't know a whole lot more than we did before, but we know Bowser's trying to marry Princess Peach for whatever reason. Cappy's there. We know about Cappy now. Actual character itself. And evidently, you're trying to put a stop to this wedding. And Pauline's back for whatever reason, which is like the weirdest crossover ever.
I have a theory as to why Pauline is back.
Go on. I'm all ears.
And come back to this in 6 months. I truly, thoroughly believe the final boss of this game is going to be Bowser, as usual. But the first half of the fight is going to be Donkey Kong. And then you possess Donkey Kong, and you fight Bowser with the possessed Donkey Kong in New Donk City. And he's like giant old
I hope
Donkey
that's
Kong.
what you do.
Not like Donkey Kong 64 size Donkey Kong, like legit climbing buildings, huge Donkey Kong versus like an enormous Bowser.
There's all these Donkey Kong references. It's got to be leading to something.
Yeah.
But where I thought you were going with that was that Pauline is wearing that hat the whole time we see her. Maybe, when you knock the hat off of someone, then you can possess them. So I thought you were going there, but
I mean, that would be cool if you possess Pauline to play through an old Donkey Kong level or something. I thoroughly believe Donkey Kong is going to come into play in the finale of this game. I guarantee it.
So are you proposing the final battle might be a giant fight in New Donk City between a giant Bowser and Giant DK?
Yes, Godzilla versus King Kong.
Go, do it.
Yes.
Could that be why they canceled Project Giant Robot?
Oh, what? What if that's the case? Oh my god.
Right?
That is awesome.
What?
Put all the development.
Oh my god.
Oh wow.
You called it, Andre.
We cracked it. Oh man, it's all making sense.
I don't know. We'll see in a few months here.
That would be incredibly epic. I mean, I think that's even better than another idea we floated before. I'll throw it out there because Tom...
I don't know if Project Giant Robot was ever a great idea.
No, it wasn't. But this is a much better idea. But Tom had the idea, another game explainer, that what if Bowser had a similar hat, a similar body-possessing hat, where they both throw their hats, and Mario takes control of Bowser, and Bowser takes control of Mario. So you're fighting Mario as Bowser,
awesome.
but you're actually Mario.
That's awesome.
But then if you end up killing Mario, then what body do you go back to? You're trapped in Bowser's body, and then you have to marry Peach as Bowser. By the way, you brought up earlier, you're like, why would Bowser want to marry Peach? Have you seen Peach in her wedding dress? That is the prettiest Peach has looked in a very long time.
That's a good point.
With her little piranha plant bouquet?
That is pretty adorable.
Yeah, that's a cool touch.
That's a great launching off point. Like, again, I kind of mentioned it before. I am really liking the personality that we're seeing in this game. Like, they are kind of pushing Mario to his limits here. Like, with how Mario's nose bounces around. Like, it feels like we're just getting a lot more, like we're seeing like a little bit of a looser Mario here. Like, they're not sticking by the rigid kind of like design documents they've had before. Like, we're getting something a little bit new, a little bit fresher here with how these characters like interplay with each other. Like the fact that the wedding alone is something we've only really seen in the RPGs. Like, that already is kind of a step beyond what we've seen in typical Mario games. Which, I mean, maybe besides Mario Sunshine. Like, Mario Sunshine's the closest game I could think of to offering a story similar to this.
I mean, I guess it depends on like what direction they take their crazy, because they did set one in space where Bowser tries to destroy the galaxy.
That's true.
So, like,
That's true.
That's also kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But I like it. I like when Mario tries new things all the time. And you're definitely right that like even things like Bowser tries to destroy the galaxy, it's still a pretty simple like good and evil capture the princess kind of thing. You know, in terms of how it actually affects the game, this is probably going to be exactly the same, you know, typical just like good and evil capture the princess kind of story. But at least they'll have a little flourish around it.
Well,
Yeah.
So speaking of which, we already know that there are some story-based missions in the game, which is also something I don't think we've seen in a Mario game before, where some of the moons are just random moons, but other times they're apparently tied to story objectives. I think, you know, as we saw with, I think collecting the musicians in New Donk City, or some of these boss fights in like the Sand Kingdom, for instance.
Well, in the thing they showed on Treehouse Live too, in the Wooded Kingdom, you had to like investigate like what was happening in the woods, and you had to go talk to people. Yeah,
exactly. So I think we are getting more story here than we've seen before, which is very interesting. Because usually your progression through the game is tied purely to how many things you found, but it seems like they are taking a step farther here.
Well, they are also like including characters from other Mario games, because we saw like Captain Toad was in the demo. He was in the New Donk City area, and so I'm curious like what other characters from other Mario-related games would cross, or Pauline in New Donk City too. Like,
They've already named Diddy, Dixie, Cranky, and Squawks.
Yep.
Right. And so I'm curious if maybe they'll eventually be like a space station level or something where you see Rosalina, or you end up seeing
That'd be cool.
like maybe Tatanga from the Mario Land games. Because if you look at the Sand Kingdom stage, those weird Moe head things that you possess, those are straight up enemies from the Mario Land series. So I would not be surprised if Tatanga ends up showing up in that stage.
Oh, man, Tatanga.
I'm having serious flashbacks to thinking that Tatanga was going to be the Galaxy final boss with those alien Goombas look just like something in Mario Land.
Hey, I was hoping
Nintendo, you're doing it again.
I was hoping Wart was going to show up in 3D World because they had the Mario 2 fairies there. So.
Me too.
Well, we
man.
did see though already that there's sort of a Astro side to that Sand Kingdom because of the first trailer with the flying pyramids, and like that is exactly the aesthetic of those Mario Land games, is like the desert.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know, giant spaceships and things.
I actually mentioned that in my first analysis. I hope that's the case, but at the very least, I think you are right. I think there will be some kind of space level here, because we've already seen too. The moon seems to be playing a pretty big role in this game.
Yep.
I mean, now you're literally collecting moons, and the moon is prevalent in every single level. You can see it up there in the sky at different phases.
To be fair though, did you hear the reason as to why there are moons in this game?
No, I haven't actually.
Okay, so the official reason for why there are moons in this game is because in Mario 64 there were stars, in Mario Sunshine
suns.
there were shines,
Yep.
and then literally Miyamoto was like, well, I guess we need to do moons next. And that's why they're doing moons.
That's such a Miyamoto
Gotta love
idea.
him.
I love that. But I feel like even with that being the case, the moon's gonna play a larger role than what we've seen already. I think they're definitely tying it in here. It's even in the New Donk City logo. You can see like the full moon there. So
Yeah, I mean, it may be something like the wedding takes place on the moon, and so the final level is, like, on the moon. It could be something like that.
That'd be cool.
And I really would love to see Mario Galaxy physics in this game. Like, you know, I want to see, like, a low-gravity environment. How fun would that be? Particularly with how there's no fall damage in this game, it would be such a blast to just do these massive jumps in a low-gravity environment. Like, if you could
shout out to Sonic Adventure 2 for doing that, I think a decade ago, with the Knuckles level, where it's literally all the Mario Galaxy physics in a giant open-world area. Only difference is you're hunting for Chaos Emerald shards.
And it's not a great game.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
You take that back.
Don't tell Kobe that. Don't tell Kobe that.
Go ahead, Colin.
But, it was something about the moons, but I lost track of it.
All right. So I have a question for you guys. Based on the other levels we've seen so far, which we haven't seen necessarily much of besides the Wooded Kingdom, I think it's called, or the Woods Kingdom, whatever. Which level do you want to play the most that we've seen between any of the two trailers so far that we haven't already played?
I don't know if I'm gonna like it the best, but I want to play the most the weird polygonal one with, like, the kitchen utensils and stuff like that. Like, I guess it's the vegetable world.
That one weirds me out. I don't know. That one weirds me out.
See, I don't know how I feel about it, but I know I need to play it and find out.
That.
How funny would it be if that world was actually a world inside of the New Donk City world where you go in an arcade and there's like a cooking game in an arcade?
Man, you know what? I know there's more than New Donk. There's so much more than New Donk City that we don't know. I want to know what else is there.
Yeah.
Hi, B. Roger. What level do you want to play?
I mentioned this in a discussion video with potential future Mario worlds that I did with Josh last year, and we both said we wanted a prehistoric level.
Yes.
And so to get that, and we see this Jurassic World level, I mean, I can't wait to possess a giant T-Rex and eat Stegosauruses and jump across these old, like, maybe meet cavemen or something, little Koopa Troopas that are dressed like cavemen. It'd be so cool. I love the idea behind that level. I also think it's interesting because based on the music that we've heard in the demo and all the other trailers, the first trailer's music is apparently the theme to the Jurassic level.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah. The non-vocal theme, the one that we heard in the very first Mario Odyssey trailer, that is apparently the music for the dinosaur level. Yeah.
That is awesome. Yeah, that's also my favorite level. Like, the moment I saw the dinosaur, I'm like, hell yeah, I want to play that dinosaur.
Yeah.
Although, that dinosaur also shows up in the Wooded Kingdom.
He's got a silly little fedora on.
Yeah, he's in the underground section, so maybe he pops up in every level.
He's a recurring character. He just looks like a regular T-Rex, though. It's
maybe that's
bizarre.
just Yoshi.
It's the old Mario Brothers movie Yoshi that looks like a real dinosaur.
He grew up. What can I say?
Right?
I love it. I love it.
This is like the perfect like unifying theory here. This is the Mario game to bring them all together. It's all going to make sense with Mario Odyssey.
I mean, Bob Hoskins shows up, man.
Setting New Donk as the hub world is they said, we just put Mario next to normal humans and it looked weird, so we kept it.
Sounds right.
That was it. So maybe that's what they did with Yoshi. We made him huge and scaly.
So do you guys think we will see Yoshi or Luigi in this game at all?
Luigi for sure. I'm certain the end of the game you unlock Super Luigi Odyssey like you did in Mario Galaxy.
God.
I'm sure. Like they have to. I'm sure that will be the case.
Yeah.
Yoshi, I don't know. I actually like Colin's theory that Yoshi is the giant T-Rex. I think that's kind of cool.
That'd be pretty amazing. But if he were to show up, it would be in that dinosaur realm. So
yeah. I'm sure he, like Captain Toad and fingers crossed Rosalina Rogers.
Oh, I hope so.
Will show up as like a cameo in some level at the very least.
What do you guys think about the co-op too? But that's something we didn't know about before. But it showed off, I think, on day 3, maybe day 2, I can't remember. Where one player is controlling Mario, of course, the other player controls the hat, and they can apparently like kind of swing the hat around. They even can control the camera they want, and they're basically just like a free roaming assist.
I mean it's better than Galaxy's co-op, or at least more involved. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's actually going to be really frustrating for both of you.
Having camera control. Yeah, I can see that being a problem.
Right, and if the player controlling Cappy like doesn't hit it at the right moment and do what you want, well, Mario's trying to platform and like use Cappy to bounce up. Like I could see it getting problematic. So if you're looking for the same kind of co-op as like 3D World had, you're not gonna find it here.
Right.
And Mario sandbox games have always been single-player adventures to me, so I don't mind that at all.
Yeah, same. This feels to me like just like a mode they threw in there so parents could play with their kids. Like it's something that I will probably never touch in the final game.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, I like that it seems to be a little bit more involved in Galaxy, but this to me is a single-player game. Like, I almost feel like playing co-op kind of take away from that.
Yeah.
From the way that the game was designed. So.
Well, it's funny because I also feel like the Cappy controls are a little hard to get used to by myself, and so with the second player, like having to swing Joy-Cons around, like there's just some weird oddities there. Weird oddities in Odyssey.
Odysseys or oddities?
Oh god.
Both.
Speaking of which, actually, what did you guys think of the motion controls? Because that was the only way we could play, except I think if you played on the handheld version, which I guess you gotta try, Roger.
Yeah.
So because you were playing in handheld form, right?
Yeah, and it's actually funny that you mentioned that because when I played through my demo in the media booth, I did not use motion controls. I used the actual controls, like where you hold down the Y button to like hold the hat in place.
Right.
So I actually never once like shook the Joy-Con to throw the hat.
Oh, really?
And I just did a Japan time with Shofu 2 days ago, and everybody on the show asked me how were the motion controls, and I'm like, honestly, I didn't even know there were any motion controls. And I had played it multiple times, and I was not even aware of that, so I can't really speak on it.
The only thing I realized there were motion controls for is when you want to spin Cappy around you in like 360 degrees, like a spin attack. Which I thought that was weird that they wouldn't just map that to a button, because there are a lot of unused buttons.
Yeah.
So I hope they do that, but if not, whatever. I guess I just won't use that move much.
Well, they kind of have to if you want to play with a Pro Controller, right? Because you can't.
Yeah.
But there are a few motion controls beyond the 360 spin, because depending on how you throw the Joy-Cons, you can also throw the hat, straight ahead. I guess kind of if you had pressed Y, but it's a little bit different when you do it with the Joy-Cons. Mario like throws the hat, I think a little bit farther. You can also throw the hat straight up into the air if you want.
Oh wow.
Huh. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I'm not great at it yet, though, which I'm not sure how much of it is my fault versus the game's.
Sure.
I mean, to be fair, I wasn't, I didn't spend too much time with it.
Right.
But I wanted to throw the hat 360. I kept throwing the hat like straight up or straight ahead. I'm like, oh, damn it, Mario, throw it to the side. Stop doing that. So I'm hoping that's more me at this point, not the motion controls. But I was feeling like I'd rather just do this with a button instead of, motion. So.
I never had that issue where it would throw straight up when I'm trying to do the spin thing. Like, it just always did the spin thing. So it's possible maybe it was an issue with, like, the Joy-Con. I've been having a lot of trouble with one of my left Joy-Cons lately, so that's rooted in my mind. But it sounds really cool, but I hope they fix those kinds of issues. I hope it is just you, Andre.
Yeah, I do too. So here's a question. Do you guys have any concerns at all about this game, whether from the trailers or your hands-on time, besides the potential motion controls, which, hopefully that's not a problem, but do you have any other potential concerns about anything about this game?
Yeah, I mean, just like we talked about earlier, I'd be worried if the worlds that were in the game were just the worlds that we've seen so far.
Right.
Like, even if it's only, 4 more worlds and we get, 9 or 10 worlds, that's fine. But if we get, just 6 worlds, even if they're as big as they are in this game, I would genuinely be upset.
Right.
Yeah, so I think I agree with you there. The number of worlds is probably the biggest one for me. I also kind of wonder, with collectible moons being so common, I guess, if it will really feel like there are... Even story-based moons might not feel like missions the way that 64 Sunshine Galaxy felt like missions. And, I mean, we'll see how it happens in the game and how it comes together, but I worry I might not have the same sense of interest from start to finish, right, I mean, in hopping into a world and hopping out.
To speak on that, in the new Donk City level, when you're collecting the musicians, when I did that in the demo, I mean, I think I got all the musicians in the matter of 5 minutes, and so that accomplishment factor, it wasn't really there. It didn't feel like I really accomplished that. I thought the first time I played it, I was like, oh, these are all smaller moons that are gonna get me the main moon in the level,
right? And
that wasn't the case. It was each of those were actually standalone moons. So I get that concern, but. Right. I still feel like the number of worlds
a little bit more like grabbing a star coin or something like that.
Yeah.
Than it does a star.
That's a good point. That is a very interesting point.
I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that, because I felt like I'm sure it'll be fine. We don't know for sure yet. But I do agree with that to some degree, because in Banjo-Kazooie, for instance, pretty much every Jiggy, for the most part, was tied to some kind of key objective, right? You never really quite found them just lying out in the wild. I guess Mario 64 had some of that, but even most of those felt like they were tied to, some key point. But to be fair, though, the moons we've seen so far may represent a small amount of the total portion in the level.
Right.
So,
sure.
Right, and that's what I'm hoping.
Right. And we do know, too, like, there are the grand moons, which granted are just, 3 moons.
Right,
But maybe
right.
those are kind of like filling in for the more
Yeah.
key objective ones. So,
Yeah.
what was the most surprising thing for you guys from playing the game? Was there anything that caught you off guard, or anything you were pleasantly surprised by? Anything that you saw, like, oh my god, I need to play, I want to see more of that.
So I want to tie this in with something we were just talking about, which is a concern for the game.
Okay.
And this is very minor. This is like super minor, but it's important to me. Is I really need all the music in this game to be orchestrated.
Yes.
I find that incredibly important because after 3D World, Star Fox Assault, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, like all of these games, we've had beautiful orchestrated music, and some of the tracks that I heard, Mario Galaxy, right, and some of the tracks that I heard in what we've seen so far are not orchestrated. Some of them are, like the jazz one in New Donk City is very clearly, but like the Jurassic theme is not orchestrated, it clearly sounds a little bit MIDI, and so if they're gonna do anything to the game to sort of polish it up, and I do feel pretty confident that they will, I do hope that those tracks get orchestrated. And the only reason I have faith that they will is because when we first saw Mario Galaxy at E3, Mario Galaxy did not have orchestrated music in it. It was like MIDI tracks for Good Egg Galaxy and stuff, and then they added the orchestrated stuff later on. So that does seem like something they could sort of change a little bit later on, but this goes also to something that surprised me, was how well the music worked within the environments that we played. So like, in the New Donk City level, when you're inside of the buildings and you're sort of adding up the different musicians, they add each of the music tracks of each of the musicians you've already found to the overall Mario
That's
theme.
cool.
And that is like so cool, and I really hope there's other levels like that where the music sort of gets built upon as you develop the world. So like for the Sand Kingdom level, for example, we have all that ice in the Sand Kingdom world that we really don't know like what is up with that. And so I'm curious if maybe you adjust the ice or you get rid of it or you add more ice to the level, is that going to eventually change the music in some way? And I'm super excited to see what they do with that, because I feel like Nintendo's been on a roll with dynamic music tracks, and I hope that trend continues with this game. Yeah.
That's such a Nintendo touch, isn't it, to add percussion or different instruments to the music, which we've seen before, like in Yoshi's Island, for instance. As you work your way through the worlds, the world map theme has new instruments added to it. And touching on Mario Odyssey and the music in that game, like how you go into the 2D sections and the music goes into like a retro version of the song, which is freaking brilliant. I love that. How do you, Colin? What surprised you?
So I don't know how much I want to give it away for listeners. Spoiler alert, I'm giving it all away. But there was a cool like sand pit in the sand level where you jump into it, and my first instinct was like, I'm gonna die, but I'll see what happens. You jump into it, and you actually get transported to this crazy ice cavern.
Right.
Completely unexpected. So yeah, I jumped into a sand pit thinking I was gonna die, and no, bam, I'm in this insane new world that we haven't even seen before. Or at least I hadn't remembered. And that was just so cool.
Yeah, I mean, the game is all about turning everything, like, inverting your expectations. I mean, they have a literal upside-down pyramid.
Yeah.
And we saw in the wooded area, too, to get to the underground area with the T-Rex, you jump off a cliff, and you end up down there. It's like, whoa, that's weird. So yeah, I love that. Like, they are turning things on their head, like... I remember after Mario Galaxy and Mario Galaxy 2, I'm like, where in the hell does Nintendo go from here? Like, Mario's already explored the universe, what do you do from here? And it turns out you go back to what Mario did before and just make everything different. That's how you do it. And that's what's exciting about Mario Odyssey. Like, you never quite know what to expect. And like, capturing these enemies, like, I never saw that coming. Like, that's such a cool mechanic. And it's almost something I expected more in a Zelda game than a Mario game, but I love that it's here. It's such a cool thing that's constantly switching up the gameplay on a moment-to-moment basis.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. You know, you talked about how sort of fresh a lot of these new worlds feel. Like, you're going back to the Mario 64, Mario Sunshine sandbox style, but with these fresh new worlds. And that really hits home for me, too, because I remember Mario 64, Sunshine, they were so adventurous with where they would put Mario, location-wise, what they would have him do, especially with Delfino Plaza and all the stuff they did in that era. Nintendo was really, really adventurous and free to let Mario worlds just get absolutely bananas. And then we sort of saw them take a turn back and draw more from games like Mario 3, Mario World, make games that were a little bit more fueled by nostalgia, not just gameplay-wise, but aesthetically. Like 3D World visually is really, really reminiscent of World and 3 specifically, I think. And it's just so nice to see them finally jump back into the zany stuff and say, you know what, Mario doesn't need to look like Mario 3 all the time. And so it's just so much fun to see him back in these crazy new places again.
Yeah, it really is. Like, I felt a sense of like magic and just sheer enthusiasm from that trailer that I haven't felt in a long time. Like that's what Nintendo just nails sometimes. Is like just making you feel like a child again. It's like fuck, it's like hell yeah. Almost
you almost did it. We Disney.
Almost did it.
So you can't. Yeah.
I saved it. So for me though, I think my most surprising moment in this, in a way, besides the cap mechanic, because I think that's kind of default. Like I don't think anyone saw that coming.
Yeah.
The theme song, the One Up Girl theme song, it's got freaking
Oh my
lyrics.
god! How could we forget One Up Girl?
Right? I'm ashamed of you guys.
That's a lot of drama brewing in the Mario universe, I'm telling you.
I like that he said he's ashamed of me. I'm the one who brought up music. What are you talking about?
Well, you didn't mention the One Up Girl, so...
Well, that's because I got a special video coming up for the One Up Girl song in the next couple of weeks.
Are you singing it? That'd be amazing.
Might be singing it in the Nintendo booth with Kit and Krista. Maybe it's singing it in the Nintendo booth with Kit and Krista. Who knows? So.
Oh my god. That means I need to see this. That is so uncharacteristic for Nintendo, for a Mario game especially, to have a fully encompassing theme song with lyrics. I didn't see that coming, and I just love it. Like, I love everything about it, and I love how it kind of like just demonstrates Nintendo going the extra mile one more time. Like, they are really set on making this game all it can be, it seems. And that's just
I mean, it's way catchier than it has any right to be. Like, it's insane.
Oh yeah.
It was like looping in the booth all day, and I didn't mind. I'm like, oh, this.
I didn't get tired of it.
Yeah. All right, I think we're probably wrapping it up here. So, any final points you guys want to bring up before we wind down here? Any things you want to mention that we haven't talked about? Anything that excited you? Whatever you want.
All right, so you guys remember the Throwback Galaxy in Galaxy 2?
Oh man.
I want Mario to go back to Peach's castle. And you explore, you get power moons.
What
you go all around the castle from Mario 64, but now it's filled with power moons. The painting, you don't jump into the paintings anymore because that would be too much.
It's what if there is at least one painting you hop into?
But you get Peach's castle and that entire hub area as a world in Odyssey.
Oh, I would love that. And they could put the moons. Like in the little slide star that you get in Mario 64 when you go into that little, like, the stained glass window. Or they could add it where Yoshi was, they could put the oh my god, yes.
It already had a moon, didn't it? I swear to god, there was in the slide in Tall Tall Mountain, there was a moon, a half moon in it.
Oh.
Man.
So that's what I want. That's my final point.
That needs to happen, and not only that, at least one of those paintings has to work. I would love to go back to the Bomb Battlefield with Mario Odyssey physics.
That would actually be incredible.
That's fair. That's actually that space is probably small enough that they could pull it off. And...
I think they could. Yeah. Oh, that'd be so. I mean, actually, you know what? Now that you brought this up, like this would be a good time. They could really flesh out the area around Peach's castle, like make that a whole new world, right? Like still the waterfall there, the pond, but build more around that. That would be, that would be great.
Well, and there were a lot of cool secret spaces in that hub world where you jump in and, it would fade to black and fade back in when you cut out. But, like there was a Metal Mario power-up under the waterfall or something like that. I don't remember the exact specifics. But those little mini obstacle courses that you find throughout the Peach's Castle world could totally come back, too.
So, I'm glad that you brought up a world idea, too, because I think... I want to ask Andre, if there was one Mario-themed world that you could bring into this, like, what world would that be? Like, what Mario game would you want to see added to Mario Odyssey? Because, like, if Colin says he wants to see the Peach's Castle area from Mario 64, like, what area from another Mario game would you want to see in Odyssey? Or, like, which do you think would fit the best?
Oh, man, that... okay, I think what would fit best would be something from Galaxy. Just anything, especially with the potentially stellar theme we have here with the moons and whatnot. However, if I had to choose a region that I would love to see come back, in this game in some way, and maybe we already are, actually. Dino Land.
Oh, wow!
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, right? And I think
that's a good idea.
Yeah, we haven't seen that in forever, so I think that'd be fun.
Screw it, go to Yoshi's Island.
There you go, yeah. I think, sort of building upon that, you were mentioning the Peach's Castle thing, and I sort of got an idea, is you know how Odyssey's whole theme is, like, real-world environments? Sort of like bringing the real world, but mixed in with, like, that Mario charm. I think it'd be really cool to maybe see, like, some type of area in Italy, like an Italian, maybe a Venetian level, where you go through canals and things, and that they tie it in somehow with racing, like with F1 racing, and then they tie in Mario Kart stuff. So you'd have like you'd go on a track with like real F1 racers versus Mario Karts in the middle of Italy. Like, please give me that.
That would be something. Wow. I am still interested how they're gonna tie all this together, because like the whole New Donk City thing, like there's more to this that we don't know. And they were being very coy, by the way, at one point when they were showing off the Wooded Kingdom. They specifically said something along the lines of, we can't yet reveal how this level ties into the others, because like that one takes place in like a biodome or something.
Yeah.
So they were being very coy about how that one ties into the rest. So I mean,
and to be clear, New Donk City is not the hub of the game.
Right, it's not. That's right.
Right. So it's a standalone world, and I think a lot of us thought it was going to be the hub when we first saw it.
Well, yeah. So there's a question: do you think there's a true hub, or is it just the Odyssey?
I think you really
that takes
just
you level
fly
to
through the spaceship Odyssey or Starship or whatever. Yeah.
And then we just end up having a map like in Galaxy 2 or something like that.
Right.
I don't even know. Honestly, it could just be as simple as a menu. They could go all out with it. They could keep it super minimalistic.
Well, I think what the menu's
done both before.
I think what the menu's going to be is, we already know it takes place like on a world, and the Odyssey has a globe on it. You probably use like a globe menu.
That would actually be cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I bet you fly the Odyssey around at different locations of the world, and that's your world map.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
But we do know
that's cool.
There is the Cappy Kingdom, though. I haven't looked into it too much yet. I've just started the analysis, so I wonder if that might function as like a pseudo hub, for instance, like maybe like a safe area, or maybe it's a full level. I'm not sure.
Is the Cappy Kingdom is that Nightmare Before Christmas looking world, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
right, yeah.
okay.
That's where Cappy came from. And what's Cappy's deal? We know nothing about that guy.
He's 100% a boo. Guaranteed he's a boo. Because he possesses things. He's absolutely a ghost. He even looks like a ghost the first time you see him.
You're totally right. Yeah. And not only that, too, we've seen in Mario Galaxy, Mario could become a ghost, and he had the same, like, mustached face, too. It looked like he just took possession of a boo in that game.
Yeah, and the Cappy Kingdom, if that's the level you're referring to, that looks like a Nightmare Before Christmas area. Like, that looks like a graveyard or something. So it would not surprise me if Cappy's a ghost.
Yeah.
So wait, instead of Casper the friendly ghost, we have Capper the friendly ghost?
Or Cappy? Just Cappy the friendly ghost, yeah.
All right. Anything else, guys, or is that it for us
here? All right, I think that's about it from me.
Yeah, I'm good.
Right. Perfect. I think that was a lot of fun. I cannot talk about this game enough. Even though I said, even though we think we've covered it, we have it. I could go on for hours about this game.
Oh, the analysis machine is gonna go to town.
Oh my god, I know. It's gonna be a while.
I can't wait.
It's gonna be an ugly next few weeks.
How long was your analysis of Breath of the Wild?
How long
like
was
an hour?
it?
It was an hour and a half, wasn't it?
No, Mario Odyssey was an hour and a half. Zelda was over 2 hours.
Okay, do you think the new Mario Odyssey one's going to be over 2 hours?
Oh my god, I hope not. That would kill me. So.
Well, you didn't think the first one was going to be.
That's true. You're right. I didn't think it'd be anywhere close to what it ended up being. I mean, the very first Mario Odyssey trailer, which we didn't know what it was called then, that was 6 seconds of footage, which I turned into 10 minutes somehow. So, anyways, Roger, where can people find you at?
Sure, you can find me at YouTube, RogerSpace, and on Twitter and Instagram, RogerSpace, and on my YouTube channel right now, my main YouTube channel, I actually have posted up the entire direct feed footage of me playing through New Donk City. So if you wanted footage of pretty much all of the moons that were in the demo, that is available. I will make it my channel trailer as soon as we're done recording this, so then people won't miss it if they jump over to my channel. Also, subscribe to Game & Vlog, which is my secondary channel with gameplay videos, because I have direct feed footage going up of Pokemon Tournament, of Fire Emblem Warriors, and of Mario Rabbids as well. So.
Can you spell that? Game & Vlog?
Yeah, it's Game and Vlog.
Gotcha.
Like Game & Watch. Yeah.
Ah.
Nice. See what you did there.
There you go. The logo's even the Game & Watch logo, so. I mean,
that's perfect. How do you call it? Where can people find you at?
Yeah, so I write at Gamnesia, that's just gamnesia.com, and you can find me on Twitter at Colin McIsaac, that's ColinMciSaac.
Perfect. And you can find links to both of those guys' sites in the description below, or their YouTube channels, if you will. And of course, make sure to stay tuned to GameXplain for lots more Super Mario Odyssey, including an eventual analysis and everything else Nintendo Switch as well. Catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye-bye.